Hello, I'm Scott Wrighton, and I serve as the Decatur City Manager, and it's my pleasure to bring you these weekly updates on what's going on with the COVID pandemic, as well as other activities of your Decatur City government. As I mentioned the last time we had this video, the number of cases here in Macon County is inching ever closer to that 10,000 number. It currently stands at 9,975 Macon County residents who have been infected with the virus. The number of deaths, thankfully, has not inched up as much and has been in the 180 range for some time. A little bit more alarming are some of the other statistics that I want to share with you. The positivity rate for Macon County is now 3.1% compared to the Region 6 positivity rate of 2.5%. That's the first time since sometime in the middle of last year that the Macon County positivity rate was actually higher than the Region 6 positivity rate. For most of the time since the middle of last year, the positivity rate for the region was higher than it was here in Macon County. And we need to take, I think, attention of that, because it indicates that not only that, but other factors are contributing to the fact that we really cannot let our guard down. Just yesterday, it was announced that there are new variants of the COVID virus that have been detected right here in Macon County. Within the last 72 hours, a super spreader event was reported right here in Illinois. And there are other reasons to continue to be concerned. Besides the fact that there are more infected people streaming across our southern border, there are other variants that haven't been fully detected and which are likely to make their way into Illinois. I fear, in other words, that we may be letting our guard down, and we should not. Don't misunderstand me. The city acknowledges that there are real economic, social, and psychological impacts from lockdowns and too much isolation. I think we've learned that during the last year that this pandemic has been in effect. And too much lockdown, too much restriction can have more detrimental effects. We want a degree of normalcy to return. It's what we all want. And I believe that we can still do that with certain precautions. Wear the masks, clean surfaces regularly, practice social distancing. These are things that can be integrated into our daily lives and still have an open economy, still have meetings. And I think increasingly important is you need to get vaccinated if you can. It's still the best defense against infection and the best way that we can eventually get rid of these. To date, only 17% of Macon County's population has been fully vaccinated. Now, of course, it's a much higher percentage when you calculate in those who've received at least one dose of a vaccine. But as of now, everybody, no more exceptions, everybody over the age of 18 is eligible to receive the vaccine. There are no more restrictions. And you can make appointments very easily. It used to be very hard and the slots oftentimes filled up, and now it's much easier to get appointments through the county health department, through Crossing Healthcare, and through many of the local area pharmacies. And many of them have made it increasingly easy to get the vaccination appointments online. So I encourage you to do so. So what else is going on in the life of the city? I'm pleased to discuss other topics. It seems like although COVID is extremely important, perhaps we spend too much time talking about COVID. The municipal elections have just concluded, and there were 3 seats on the city council that were open. The 2 incumbents were both re-elected for new 4-year terms. They are Chuck Kuehl and David Horn. These 2 council members will be joined by a new council member because Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Pat McDaniel decided that he would not seek re-election after serving on the City Council for 10 years. He will be replaced by Ed Culp, so congratulations to those who were re-elected as well as the newest member of the City Council, and they will be seated at the first City Council meeting in May, which will be on May 3rd. At the last City Council meeting, the City Council took action on a couple of topics that I'd like to share with you. Both at that meeting as well as probably one of the meetings in May, the City Council has and will continue to take action on demolition of derelict and abandoned structures, many of which are no longer safe, some of which have been burned out, and far too many of them have simply been abandoned by their owners. And they have failed to pay taxes on them, and sometimes the city picks them up because they are sold eventually for back taxes. That's a lengthy process, and we sometimes have to go through, but at the end of it, many of these structures are not fit for any kind of reuse and need to be demolished. The City Council continues to dedicate financial resources to this so that we can clear out these properties and not let them be a drag or a burden on properties that are around them. The City Council also took action to acquire additional buses for our public transit fleet. We thankfully have access to a fair amount of federal money exclusively for that purpose, for the purpose of funding our public transit system in the pandemic, and we're able to use that to replace our aging fleet of buses. The City Council also took action to renew mowing contracts. The city spends more than $400,000 a year now to mow vacant, surplus, abandoned, and neglected vacant lots throughout the city. It's a lot of money, but it beats the alternative, which would be allowing them to become overgrown and to have a negative impact on the neighborhoods and the houses around them. The city acknowledges its responsibility to try to keep these lots mowed, even though many of them we don't own, and the owner has not taken responsibility for them. Others of the lots are ones that the city has acquired through tax foreclosure or some other means, or because we tore down a house and foreclosed on the demolition lien, and we haven't been able to move them out of our land inventory. While the city does have a lot of surplus land in its inventory, the mayor and the city council eventually want to reduce this inventory over time. A key component of our neighborhood revitalization program is finding innovative ways to repurpose the lands and to get them transferred eventually to different owners who can use them productively and get us out of the responsibility for mowing them. But that will take time. We thank you for your inputs into our neighborhood revitalization programs and all the other services that we provide to our city. And I look forward to talking with you again next week.